Hello. Ain't nobody here right now. You have to look at my notice with me. I hope y'all can hear the music. I got some like royalty free music going on. So that's good for all of us. Yeah. I don't know if it's too loud. Is it too loud? Please someone let me know. That's one thing that I hate about this. I can't tell if anyone's talking to me or not. I don't know if like this works. Would be cool if someone goes like hello or hi to see if it works. But yeah. Woo! So it's nice to see y'all again, guys. Last time I was gone because it was my husband's birthday. So I had to, celebrate with him and, have a good time and everything. And man, let me tell you what, sometimes in laws can make things a little bit harder than what they should be. uh, Hopefully, Wendy doesn't watch my live streams. That would suck. Oh, man. Well, it's been really eventful. I don't know if y'all I'm pretty sure most of y'all already know this, but the Pope died. And so right now they are doing the whole conclave thing. Well, they will be starting the conclave. I don't know. Actually, let me look that. Should I? Yeah. Um cuz like I don't want to share anything too soon cuz I got an announcement and y'all aren't going to get the announcement until towards the end. And I'm doing that mostly because, like, usually when I'm looking at the live stream and everything, I've noticed like there's a lot of people that come in like towards the end, which makes me think that I should probably. I'm sorry for clearing my throat like right up in the microphone. That's probably like really uncomfortable. Sorry, y'all. But I'm thinking that I probably get like an influx of people towards the end because I don't know. I think people are more available around 7. But I don't want to do around 7 because like I got my own podcast to watch and everything. Like I gotta watch my people that I look up to and get inspiration from, and my friends and stuff that I talk to here on X and things and whatnot. So I gotta make sure that 7 is clear because by the time 7 o'clock comes on, there's like podcasts I'm watching one after the other. Um and yeah, but anyway, besides that, like I said, Pope has died, and supposedly the Mahdi, who's come out to say like he is here, is the one that you know took his life. Oh god, it's really fucking hilarious, y'all. I've actually ran across this guy before because he's made some wild claims about Jesus in the first place. Um, and I'm about to show you who this guy is, but just to preface, like, what we're about, what I'm about to show you. This dude is, I personally think he's off his rocker. Okay, like I really don't find many people who would probably argue with me. I'm pretty sure most people would agree, but this dude is nutty and he believes that he is the successor to Peter and is the Mahdi, which I don't know if y'all know what the Mahdi is, but the Mahdi is like a character that's supposed to come with. That's the weird thing. I believe I thought the Mahdi is supposed to come with Jesus, or is it Muhammad and Jesus? But anyway, the Mahdi is this figure that is supposed to prepare the way, you know, for the coming of like Jesus and Muhammad and and all that crap. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Islam. As much as like like I have different levels levels of hatred for different religions. So I have to one day I'm gonna have to make a chart of that and like really break it down for you and for y'all and like tell you why. Because I didn't like it's so funny because like man, I used to be so I don't want to call it open minded, okay? Because like I still feel like I'm open minded, but I used to grab from every box that I would open, okay? And not only would I utilize, what I found in these boxes, but like I would straight up believe it, like wholeheartedly, like that's just like the religious part of me, you know what I mean? And man, I found that's like really bad. Like you really shouldn't just like read something and believe it, or like especially on the internet, you know what I mean? And so because I'm a millennial, right? So hey Buckies. If you're from Texas or the South, you know about that. But anyway, man, what was I fucking talking about? Here I go, already cussing. Um. Oh yeah, so yeah, I used to like utilize everything that was in the boxes, blah blah blah. So like basically, I was a very eclectic person, and of course, I practiced witchcraft through like every avenue of through eclecticism, like like I would, worship Dagda, but also Zeus, and then like, just like several different gods, um, and sometimes it didn't make sense. Now that I'm older, and like now that I've like know more information and everything, like a lot of like the shit I would do would like make no sense, and like I see like copies of myself, and I feel like it's so funny. Like I feel like a lot of us have gone through that, and like a majority of people just haven't come out of that fog, that stupor, where they believe they know everything and have all the truth. But I've been humbled so many times, and I've been made a fool so many times to be that naive anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so, like everything that I believe in and, stuff like that. Like, of course, like, at some point, my own religion and my own understanding of spirituality comes to a point of faith. And like that's with all religion and spirituality. Even if you're looking at science and stuff like that, at some point, you are trusting like certain assumptions, and those are beliefs. You know what I mean? Well, anyway, um I used to just like want to be a part of it all and think that it all should be connected and think it all should work together and that everybody should be in harmony, working towards like a central religion or something like that. And like, man, I just like I'm totally don't believe that anymore. I really don't. I feel like I had my midlife crisis like at a very young age. uh because, like of all the crazy things I went through as a child and stuff like that, it made me like look at the world a little different and realize things at an earlier age than I probably should have. And, you know, it makes you contemplate on what is truth and what is reality and like, not just like how much does this world affect me, but how much am I affecting the world? And like looking at how all that's a cyclical thing. And so like if you want to do the most good for the world, then you need to be influenced by the most good in the world. So that means like the most truth, the most light, and things like that. And of course, like this doesn't mean like understand concepts of the left hand path. That's very important, actually, especially when, in regards to shadow work. But you don't want to go like too far and do like some weird, crazy shit. You know, um, even me, at a young age, like having no moral philosophy. Um, when I was a teenager, like I would do hexes on people and things that's not good, man. Like you don't need to do that shit. And and I've literally apologized to these people before. um, like not only because like I felt bad, but like I wanted to make sure these hexes and curses were done, over with. And so a lot of times you break these things by just telling the person or the person finding out. um so yeah, I made sure to tell them and apologize and stuff like that. And yeah, you just don't want to go down that route. And if like you grew up in a moral home and a good home that's like, together and everything, then you know not to do that shit. You know what I mean? uh but like when you're raised in a toxic home and you watch your parents like constantly trying to get back at each other and just being really narcissistic and toxic with each other like that, that teaches you as a kid to be that way no matter like what your parents say or do to you. And then like it's weird, you start getting into those games with your parents as well. And so like you start becoming a mirror image, and so you end up doing like terrible shit like that. Which is my case. I was looking for God in religion and things like that, but I like was understanding things that my father was trying to teach me, but he was like schizophrenic. So it was like stuff he read for, that were legitimate from like, books from Aleister Crowley and things of that nature. But, his mental illness would of course, like throw in crazy ideas that would like spark my imagination in the wrong way. You know what I mean? I thought that was much more interesting than my mother's religion. And plus, my mom wasn't really involved with the church anyway. So, like, that was like over with very quickly. Even though I was like very devout when I was quite young, I'd carry a Bible and things of that nature. But anyway, this is all to say that I will not be fooled for a second by anything. And my own religion that I'm currently like in right now, and like any other religion that I'm faced with, and and like I said, I have levels of hate for certain religions, and like one day I'm gonna break that down because like I have legitimate claims. And of course, I want people to like argue with me against it because I think that's constructive. Um, but yeah, let's just hear this fool right now because like that's what I'm saying. Like one, I already have a distaste for Islam for the most part. And then like you have this guy that's doing this crazy shit. And what it is like I feel like it's like a psyop. He's like trying to destroy Islam, But I think this is like, a greater point of like destroying religion, in the first place. You know what I mean? Like trying to destroy the legitimacy of spirituality and religion. Um yeah, basically making a mockery of it like this. And just too because like and you'll see here in a minute, it's like basically a cult. And like this guy is he's like so close to like any cult leader that really is like so close to creating like a terrorist cell, you know um and you got to be very careful whenever you're creating groups and stuff to make sure like be careful of what you're saying and stuff like that to not like promote violence of any kind. And of course, like this guy is like he doesn't hold back, and it's just wow. Let's here. Let's listen real quick. Like, and not for 1 minute do I take this guy like seriously. You know what I mean? But I think that you do have to like watch these people because like I had like this feeling in my gut like you're we're gonna hear from this guy some more, obviously, because he's starving for attention. Um, he's obviously starving for attention, and it'll be interesting to find out if like these people end up going the way of like other cults that have like drank the Kool Aid, if you know what I mean, or if they're gonna become like a weird terrorist militia, right? Because they do have roots in Islam and things of that nature, and they are um like very antagonistic to traditional religion. Now, of course, me being the founder of the Mystic Order of the Nazarene, and of course, we have our ideas and thoughts about the Catholic Church and things of that nature, but it's not antagonistic like this. Yeah. There's more clips, and like I said, like I don't want to. I've already spent a lot of time on this guy. But it's because like I find it so funny and weird because like look like okay, so when I started doing research about this guy started making fun of him. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh hey, one of the podcasters I listen to, Tim Pool like wears a beanie all the time, and supposedly this guy wears a beanie all the time, and that's why this guy's mimicking that. And I swear, I swear to God, when I posted this, Tim Pool wore a bearskin jacket that like it oh my god. Like I should have clipped it and like made it part of the meme, but it fits so well. It fits so well. But yeah. Let's listen to more of what he says because like one of the big claims he's making right now, especially since Pope Francis is passed and whatnot, he claims that he and his followers uh basically spiritually murdered Pope Francis. And it's kind of like the Battle of Jericho. You know what I mean? Like whenever all of the people, all the Israelites, um, or Judeans, however you want to say it, were going around the walls of Jericho and played their horns and whatnot, and it like brought the walls down, and they won the war. You know what I mean? Um, that's kind of like what he's trying to echo here, and and that's really like kind of out of that's like a huge separation from the idea that you see in any like mystical text, right? So like you never see in a mystical text that like an apostle or prophet or something and the people like point to someone and like they pass. You know what I mean? Anytime there is a confrontation like that where one person's life is taken because supposedly they're an evil character of some sort in holy books, you know what I'm saying, it's never a group effort in that way. You know what I mean? Like sure there'll be a war and it'll be a group of people against a group of people, but it's never a group of people against one person. You know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Like you can see in the Acts of the Apostles, right? When Peter is like, the first papa, the first bishop. and someone doesn't tithe, or like a couple doesn't tithe, and they're not just tithing, but they're trying to lie to the church and be part of the community church while also breaking the laws of the church and like what it means to be a Christian. And so Paul like questions them and like basically takes their life, like sends them to the Father or whatever. And so you see a one-on-one thing going on, because like they're questioned separately and stuff like that, and you see that happening in different with different prophets, like um man, what's that one? I cannot think of the guy who killed the freaking giant. Oh, I have to look it up. What's the biblical story where the guy kills a giant with a slingshot? David and Goliath. Good God. So yeah, the giant's name is Goliath, and David, King David, in fact, young King David, I believe, uses a slingshot and kills Goliath. And he was, a little man at that. Well, I think he was a child, I think. I'm not sure. Really. I won't lie. It's been a while since I read the Old Testament. But um yeah, this dude's crazy. Well, let's watch it. Sorry guys. Dude, he is nutty. Good God. Um, but yeah, like I said, I don't take it very seriously, but I do say watch out for it, especially with, like, since like the Muslim problem in the West is coming to a head. This guy is definitely going to be making his mark. Believe it, like don't put it past people. I mean, like this dude, everything about him just screams a CIA agent. I don't know if like I said that already, but I really think he's a fucking psyop, bro. Trump is doing an amazing job. We're already at his 100 days, and people are making freaking Pokemon memes about him. And it's because he's doing a really great job with the illegal aliens. Um, man, but it's so freaking annoying right now that man, there's this one illegal alien named Abragio Garcia or whatever. I think his name is Kilmar Garcia. And man, he is just everywhere on the news right now. And it's so annoying because he's obviously MS-13. The dude is obviously. I don't even know if I have a clip about him, to be honest, because like I really didn't want to talk about him. Uh, but I had to. I guess I have to make a comment about it because in fact, I'm talking about Trump's what he's been doing the last 100 days. Um, yeah, I really don't have a clip for it, but you really don't need to know much about it. Fucking guy is like illegal alien. fucking gang member. The left won't leave it alone. The left keeps talking about it. Keeps on talking about Trump and his gaff about the tattoos. I really don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about any of that. I just want all of the illegal aliens out. I want all the gang members out that are illegal aliens. I would love for all the gang members here in America that are American to please stop being a gang member. Go get rehabilitated. Go turn yourself into the police. Something. Just stop doing that shit. Like, okay, I'm just gonna list everything I don't like. But I just it blows my mind so much that the left is like having a conniption that we're getting rid of these people. And they're like, oh, due process, due process. But they don't even know the law to even understand like what is the due process for an illegal alien. Like they motherfuckers really are that retarded. And the thing is though, and I feel like I over explain things sometimes, but I feel like there's just certain things that like maybe people don't get because they're not me, they don't see it the way I do. You know what I mean? Just like I watch people and what they're saying because I don't understand it from their perspective, or that we may have a perspective I agree on, but they have a little bit of something that I didn't see. Or maybe there's someone that I don't agree with, but they have a point that, I want to know. um, with that said, I'm not gonna let a motherfucker like try to convert me. Okay, the minute you start trying to do that, or you start talking about like praying to other gods and everything, and you don't expect me to talk about like archons and why like other gods are archons, like then like just don't be my friend, because like that's going to be the conversation every time you bring up like heathen gods. But with that said, with that said, Trump is doing an amazing job, and I think needs to go harder. And man, I have so many points to make on why I feel like Trump is not going hard enough. But when I make the points in my head, I'm like, I feel like he would want to go harder because of it. But then I start thinking, well, anyway, let me just tell you. Um, so maybe it'll be better if I introduce it this way. So, like everybody knows, like Europe had that blackout, right? Well, um, it's funny because you know you're what was it, the EU or something came out. Someone, hold on, let me clean my glasses. I touched my glasses or something and now it's a smudge. Right now I just want to take a time just in case like more people have like finally joined us and stuff like that, to let y'all know that I do have an announcement at the end of this. So like stick with us, and um yeah, and let's see like what happens, because I got news. I got news. I got news. By the way, I was supposed to be in DC this weekend, and man, it really sucks because like again, I'm bringing up Tim Pool, but Tim Pool is having a culture war, a live culture war show in DC, and like I had a ticket to go because I well, I mean, y'all probably don't know, but I subscribed to him, on his website. I actually just subscribed to him on several places. Like, I'm pretty much lining Tim Pool's pockets, okay? Tim Pool is rich because of me, okay? But anyway, like yeah, I have several subscriptions with him. I actually don't have a subscription with him on X. That's like the only place I don't have a subscription with him. But literally, I got like YouTube, I got his website, And I feel like there's one other place where I'm like giving him money, but I can't think of it. But I know there's one more place. I know there is. But of course, like I also subscribe to several of his co-hosts and whatnot on his show, Timcast IRL, and yeah, and I just really enjoy the show, guys. I'm sorry, like, and I really, I really don't talk about it that much. Like, as much as I watch it, like, it's kind of like, sick, like how much I, absorb Tim Pool's content. But I love it. I love it. I think the guy is like freaking highly intelligent. Actually, I'm really happy he's doing the work he does because, like, my God, if Tim Pool was fucking nuts and he was working with the left, we would all be fucked. We would all be fucked because he would find ways to, like, like distort the perception that the left can't, has no way of doing. Like, I'm just so happy that he's has genius and morality. Um, but yeah. So anyway, where I was going with this is, so lights went out in Europe, and like when I first heard this, I even told my husband, I was like, I know this has to be the sun. Well, no, no, no. Actually, I told him, I was like, I think this has something to do with the poles. And I was thinking that the poles, because like what we're waiting for is for the poles to drift, again, but faster. And like according to Ben Davison, like this solar scientist, he says that the next time it moves, most likely that's whenever the poles are going to meet. You know. Um. Oh hey, it's our intro for Gnostic Revival. Hold on, we gotta look at it real quick. This guy, he is really good guitarist. Yeah, I basically just like cut the song in half and use it for the intro and outro. But yeah, I fucking love Midwest emo, y'all. Like, oh, sorry. I really love Midwest emo and math rock. It's really funny because like one of my sister's ex boyfriends got me into math rock, and at first I didn't realize like how into it I was. And then like someone sent me some music, or somehow I came across the genre Midwest emo, and I was like, oh my god, I like this. And like I started recognizing like the math guitar and everything. I was like, oh Jesus Christ, I like math rock. I don't know why I always lament things that I love. It's so weird. But anyway, so yeah, I thought like the poles were shifting at such a rate that um the satellites weren't able to keep up, and so like maybe, so I was thinking like maybe there was like some kind of weird timing off on the electricity and whatnot. And obviously that was like debunked very quickly because like I mean like I was just making a guess off the off the top of my hat, to my husband, like I said. And man, Ben has like a whole video, and we're probably gonna watch it right now because it does concern me. I mean, it's like, that's the thing though. Like something like this, you really can't do too much. Like, you know, we're all at different levels of income. We're all at different levels of ability and skills and stuff like that. And even more so in this like modern age, a lot of us just don't have many real skills. Like if you were thrown in the wild and you were told to survive, you probably wouldn't be able to do it. I know. No, I'd probably be able to do it better because like I've been researching about it. My husband is like much more better at it, and that's his thing. But yeah, so and of course, actually, there's probably a lot of people who are watching that are probably like professional survivalists. So I don't know. Shout out. I mean, talk to me if you are. Like, come on. Like, I would love to have a conversation. Like, I want to do interviews at one time. Uh, it's probably gonna be like a Monday thing. Which hint to what I want to talk to you about at the end of this show. Because I do have an announcement, like I said. But yeah, let's listen to what Ben has to say. We're going to cut this music off right now, and we're going to play this. And I'm pretty sure he won't mind too much. And like, I just want to hold on. Space hurricanes. So, as you can see, that is exactly what turned off the lights in Europe. Now, this is why I was talking about the pole shift a while ago, because this is in relation to the pole shift. I'm sure many of you that are watching right now, especially with like a lot of the content that I post on here on X, probably already know about like what's going to happen with the solar storm. But for those who don't, Earth has cataclysms, and it's all related to magnetism and like how the sun changes its magnetism, and how the it's really what it is. It's the black hole that's in the middle of our galaxy. From what I understand, it changes polarity from time to time. Why? I don't know. But so does like every other galaxy and things of that nature. So it seems to reason to me there's something even bigger in the middle of the universe, that like maybe even like even bigger black hole, I don't know, but like it changes polarity, so like everything around it starts changing polarity. But anyway, so like whenever the big galactic black hole shifts polarity, all the stars and everything, all the planets and everything start to shift with it, because we're connected, like planets, people, animals, everything is connected magnetically, beyond our spiritual level. But the magnetism is a sign of our spiritual nature. because that type of subtle energy, is echoed on higher frequencies, and in higher realms and things of that nature. But yeah, so like, since there is cataclysms and stuff like that, humans all the time try to avoid it, and like some are very successful, hence like why we're all still here. You know what I mean? Because people were very successful at hiding during certain cataclysms. Uh, well, we're at another one right now, and the elite are preparing for it for sure. I don't know if you've heard of Catherine Austin Fitz, but she's amazing. She's the lady that I don't know if you heard a long time ago, but during the Bush administration, there was a woman who found like there was like a bunch of money missing from the budget or something of that nature, and she's the one that found it. She's the woman that found it, and now she just like is finding all kinds of things, and what she's coming out and talking about is how like she has found money for like secret underground bases and things of that nature, um all across the US and things like that, which does not surprise me at all. I mean, if you're going to have a good continuity of government plan, you're going to need you're going to need a way to like try to avoid cataclysm and like bad things happening, to the president or whoever falls in line next. So anyway, here's Catherine Austin Fitz talking about that right there, and I think uh I think it matches very well, and they talk about an extinction level event, but I want you to hear this first, and then we'll go into that. Real quick, we're gonna listen to this for a pretty long time because like for about 9 minutes or whatever, because like I didn't realize like there was this whole thing about a secret energy source, which duh, I should have thought about that. Like, if there's going to be this cataclysm where you're taken off of the grid and things of that nature, um you're going to have an energy source to like power your bunker or whatever it is that you're hiding out in. So let's continue. So yeah, you get the idea. There's at least 170 bases the U.S. has created secretly all across the nation, and from what it seems, in the waterways closest to these shores. Let's see here. Now we're on the idea of the secret energy program, so let's look into them. Okay, see, that's just fucking fascinating to me. It really is. And especially how all this is coming out, and like, for years we've been talking about, oh, like revelation means really like, apocalypse, which means like to reveal, to see things, through the veil. And it's so true. Like everything we're gone through so far has been a revelation of some kind. Like something is being revealed at every corner. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna go over a little. Um, First of all, I want to say this is amazing because we need to get people like Mitch McConnell out of Congress. Um, and I really don't care who it is. Like, especially if it's ineffective, liberal. Like, hell yeah, do it. Take a seat. And people will be like, "What? He's taking, a Republican seat and stuff like that." It's like, well, if you think about it, like with the way Mitch McConnell like votes and things like that, might as well be a liberal. You know what I'm saying? And if it's someone who has like lied to the public for like so long, and we're seeing like this shift, happen. You really don't know what could happen with Scott Jennings. Like, like he could be a wild card, and he could like pull out some like like huge conservative votes, which I highly doubt. This is just me spitballing and like, talking. And it might have been a retarded comment, but like I said, you just don't know. You don't know how much these people have been influenced by how crazy everything. And with that said, pretty much everyone at CNN is CIA agent. So like, maybe I'm just like blowing smoke, but whatever. So I thought that was a good thing, to be honest. Like I know, like I'm not a fan of CNN at all. Not a fan of the left at all. As y'all know, I'm about to talk shit about the left right now. Um, but yeah, like yeah. Let's just move on. Uh, okay, this will be a good segue to get into what I want to talk about. So this girl is freaky as hell. And I just want to say she probably makes everybody learn this weird code she creates. Like, watch this. People can know who you are by looking at you. Echo, stop. She, him. Shim. Just say a shim. I am a shim. Wow, this doesn't happen for me often. Like, mm, usually my psychosis doesn't make me change my gender like every 30 seconds, but it's happening today. What is that, like gender period? Oh man. I tell you what, they're all just degenerates. Like it really is. And a lot of that is like brainwashing and stuff like that because, these girls are susceptible to things like that. Some of these girls, it's really horrifying to be honest. And like even autistic boys, like they're susceptible to that kind of BS. But what's really interesting is like, I'm always saying like, the left is, not only, is the brainwash, towards all this gender stuff, but they whoever is behind all this brainwashing, it really gets a kick out of people like mutilating themselves, and their genitals and things of that nature. And I really believe that. I really believe that. I think a lot of this has to do with like pedophilia and the elite and things of that nature. And the reason why all of this corruption is because like when you get down to the end of it, there's this group of evil satanic pedophiles that have been murdering children and utilizing children in the sexual manners. And of course, like that ties into the Jeffrey Epstein thing and blah 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 and everything and so on forth. Pizzagate was real until people went a little crazy with like trying to show up at Comet Ping Pong with fucking guns. Like that ruined everything. After that, people just stopped talking about the legitimacy of the case. But it was because people were like freaking out and saying that they had like children hiding in the basement and things like that. That just wasn't something good. But I think we learned a lot from that psyop, to be honest. I think like ever since then, like we've known. But anyway, like I said, the left is like full of pedos and stuff like that, and they're all like, I think like with what Trump is doing, it's like making them really desperate, and so like you're getting like weird cases and stuff like this where these people where like you're getting these sting operations, um, with the FBI and things like that nature. Which thank you, Cash Patel and Dan. Y'all are amazing. Uh, man, this is. I mean, it's really awesome. And this guy, he was a former Democrat congressional candidate. Man, and he was helping with the trafficking of children, multi-state child trafficking thing. He also called for Trump's assassination. That doesn't surprise me. That's what I'm saying, guys. Like all these fucking people are like some kind of child diddler. Like it never fails. Do they hate Trump? Probably diddle children. I mean, that's just the logic. And like, of course everybody's talking about it. Ugh. And like they cry. Yeah, no. Like I really think they never thought they'd get caught. That's horrible. Like kid stuff. Like I just like, yeah. I can't even talk about it properly. To be quite honest with you, like my emotions just like get to the best of me. Yeah, but and it makes me think about like the episode we had last time where that teacher was literally talking to kids about like utilizing sex toys and butt plugs and things. My god. And these people try to moralize it, you know what I mean? They try to say like why it's a good thing and stuff like that. Like so far it hasn't been a good thing. Like we are the deepest we ever been and population decline. All the stats show that the newer generations are becoming more conservative, but it literally is only because that we're having this population decline. Like think about that. You're seeing more and more conservatives, in the youth than you are liberals, and it's all basically because liberals don't have children. That's why. And so the world will change. And it's going to take time and things of that nature. Like this is something that I've already talked about, like ad nauseum. Like no matter what, there's going to be a battle. There's going to be something to face. You know what I mean? And maybe to be, a lot of these things like work themselves out. But I feel like this is how us humans work this out. You know what I mean? Like we communicate things, we talk about it. There's some people that are communicators, there's some people that are doers, there's some people that are just straight up listeners. And everyone plays an integral role into how like all these problems tend to get fixed by themselves, but it's not getting fixed by themselves. Well, except for the very fact of nature of things, like when you have the population decline and the fact that you have more conservative kids being born than liberal kids. Like, yeah, that's just like that's a work. That's the very definition and definition of it working out by itself. I don't know how much more clear it could be, but what I'm saying is though is that all of this isn't for naught. Our religions, our hobbies, our careers we take on to inform people. Like I really truly believe it's part of that thing of working itself out. I think it is. It is. And with that said, um, you know, I'm realizing like how unserious I've been. You know what I mean? Like, of course, like I've been doing this live stream every Friday, and then I got the episodes I do every Wednesday. But I was like, I'm not doing anything to actually promote the religion that I want to promote. Gnostic Christianity, and put that what does Gnostic Christianity look like in a practice? And I thought I could display that properly, just by doing the videos that I do every Wednesday. But then I realized, I was like, you know what? This is not like displaying the vision that I have, because, like, of course I can talk about the history, I can talk about the theory of things, and I can even, like, give some practices and like breathing exercises, meditations and rituals. I can do all these things for you. Uh but I think it's more impactful if we look at these things in the context that it's supposed to be in, right? And so you'll notice in like my Wednesday things, in my Wednesday episodes, like I talk about the Mystical Order of the Nazarene, which I'm the founder of. Well, what is the point of the Mystical Order of the Nazarene? First of all, I've told so many people that it's not a church, and I still stand by that. Uh, but the thing that I've never really disclosed or really talked about is the fact that I've always had the vision that the Mystical Order of the Nazarene will be the priesthood of a Gnostic Christian church, and and that's basically what I want to start displaying on Sundays. I want to bring y'all a Gnostic Christian service as best as I can. Of course, it's going to be, digitally. It's going to be on a live stream, and it's not going to be something that, like, you get, like, when you're at a live service. Of course, you're not going to be able to get the bread and wine and everything like that. But I think it's like good exposure for, like, what I think a Gnostic Christian service should look like, um, and how we can integrate, the past, liturgy, and like kind of freshen it up a little, and still utilizing all of the old technique and things of that nature. Um, but giving it a fresh look and giving it a fresh sound and stuff like that. And like, of course, like I want to like stick more towards tradition and stuff like that too. And we'll utilize a lot of traditional music. But for the first service, I wanted to like really blend a lot of like my own ideas of what the potential of what it could look like. So every Sunday now, I'm going to be doing a live stream from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, like be there, be ready. If you want, like, it's going to be like a whole thing. You're going to know what to do because it'll be on the screen. You'll know the prayers because they'll be on the screen. The music has lyrics and stuff like that. You might even know some lyrics if you like gone to church before. But of course, like some of this music you're probably not gonna know. Actually, one of the songs is like something like I never heard of before, but I was like, hey, why not? Since we're all experiencing this for the first time, why not experience something all together for the first time? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I just like welcome anyone to join us on Sunday. Um, have a candle ready. Grab some bread. Grab some wine or some fruit juice. Preferably grape. I guess cherry will do, and maybe pomegranate. Uh, but if you have wine too, like bring that. And yeah, just get ready to like join in prayer, sing, and things of that nature. And yeah, that's gonna be the end of this show. I'm really glad that y'all came, and I'm glad to be back again. It sucked to not do my live stream. I look forward so much to do this, and I find this really fun. Like, I can't hear y'all, but y'all can definitely hear me and stuff like that. One day I want to like try to make this into a more like open thing. But yeah, that's it. I love you all. I hope you have a great week. And yeah, be blessed.